Good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. Honorable Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit, Honorable McIntyre, Honorable Reuben Blackmore, Mrs. Skerrit, fellow cabinet colleagues, to the residents of Laudat and environs. Good evening. As you know, I am Robert Tonge, the Minister for Tourism and Urban Renewal. What I would like to say is that the Ministry of Tourism is responsible for tourism, and many of you know tourism is important in our lives. It brings economic activity and it provides many jobs to some of us. It provides jobs both directly, where we're actually working for someone in the industry, or we have crafts and stuff like that, or indirectly, because we're working in the bank and persons have business and they bring money into the bank, or you work at a telecommunications company, or you work in a supermarket, you work in a pharmacy, and so forth. So tourism brings over $300 million to the economy of Dominica and much foreign exchange. And many of you here see the amount of persons who come to your area, which is one of the best areas in Dominica for tourism, the Valley. The Government of Dominica takes tourism very seriously, and we continue to work as hard and smart as possible to improve on our tourism products so that more persons can come to Dominica, to spend as much money in Dominica so that you too can take care of your families. We say we have 4 pillars when it comes to tourism. We call it awareness, marketing, access, and experience. On the awareness, many of you would know that sometimes persons have mistaken us for other islands. They mistake us for the Dominican Republic. So we have a lot of work to do to ensure that persons are more aware of Dominica and they don't mistake us for another island. Many of you who use the internet and those of you who even read the news, you'd realize that Dominica is a lot more in the news, not just for the negative, but also for the positive. You see all the beautiful stories of the different places you can go to, the different awards that we're winning because of tourism. Those things don't just happen by themselves. Those things have to be planned. So some of the ways that we do that, we have to invite press, journalists, and also we have what we call familiarization trips. So we bring people to Dominica, writers to Dominica, so they can experience what Dominica has to offer. Then they go back and they write stories on Dominica and publish about Dominica. So all the lovely stories that you see that are coming out in the media all over the world, talking about Secret Bay, talking about Tito Gorge, talking about our Trafalgar Falls and our Emerald Pool. These are specific things that we're doing to try and improve on that. And obviously, the more people who know about our beautiful island of Dominica, is the more they'll hopefully want to come to Dominica. That takes us to the second pillar, which is what we call our marketing, because you can have a beautiful country, but unless you give messages to say, hey, Dominica is beautiful, come and experience what Dominica has to offer, people are not necessarily going to come. Well, some will come, but if you have a great advert, more will come. It's like a business. If you just open your business and you open your doors, how many people are going to come in? But how much more persons will come in if you advertise your business? So the marketing experience is very important. In 2014, Dominica had a budget of $4.5 million to market our country. It was always felt that that amount was not sufficient. However, the Government of Dominica has felt it fair to ensure that we spend that money wisely, and they've allowed the Discover Dominica Authority, which is the department that's responsible for the marketing of Dominica, to have more funds to market Dominica. So in 2015, 2016, the marketing budget was increased to $6 million, and now in 2016, 2017, it has been increased to $8.5 million, again, to allow us to properly market our country, to encourage and entice persons to come to the beautiful Dominica. But again, even if you just have that money, you can't just spend it unwisely. You have to make sure you target the right set of people. So what we're doing too is making sure that we target the right set of people to come to Dominica. You don't want to put an advert in front of someone who likes a white sand beach and who likes to just party or just likes to shop. This is not what Dominica has to offer. Dominica offers that beautiful experience of nature, of friendly people, of great food for persons to engage in. And what we do is to try to make sure that when we spend that money, the adverts go in front of these particular type of people. So let me just give you an example. Many times you go online and you shop for a pair of jeans. You shop for a stereo for your car. And then you realize every week, every day after, you start seeing adverts specifically to the things that you were shopping. You try to wonder, how do they know that? That is called analytics. So what we do also is to ensure that the adverts that we have will go in front of someone who likes what Dominica has to offer. So someone who's all about partying, when you go online over a certain period of time, they will understand your profile. And likewise, that advert will only go in front of that particular type of person. So we're doing a lot of stuff again to ensure we have all our marketing reps. We were not satisfied with the results from our marketing reps in the US, in England, and other places. What we did was that we got in new quotations from various persons all throughout the world, and we have now replaced our marketing reps again to make sure we put pressure on them to do the right set of promotions for Dominica, to attract the right set of people coming to Dominica, so that all of us will benefit in terms of tourism. We have the other part, the other pillar, which is called access. And as many of you know, sometimes it's very difficult to get to Dominica. So one of our roles, again, is to speak with as many airlines as possible, to speak with Laudat, to make noise with Laudat when we have to ensure that they provide us with more flights coming to Dominica. And just for example, if all of you would have realized that many times at carnival time, and especially peak periods, you always hear of persons complaining of not being able to get to Dominica on time, or their bags not coming to Dominica on time. But just think of this for a second. This carnival, we had a lot more persons coming to Dominica. How many persons you saw complaining like they were complaining in the past? So it was much less. So what we do is continue to work with as many airlines as possible, work with Laudat for them to relook at their schedules again to ensure it's easier to come to Dominica and it's also more affordable. And at the same time, too, you also want to come to Dominica the same day, because the longer it takes for you to come to Dominica is the more money you spend to come to Dominica. So you want persons to come here on the same night. So we also have, take for example, Win Air, that will allow you to come to Dominica at the same time all the way from England. But to me, the most important one is the experience. The experience is that when that person has seen all of those beautiful adverts and they decide to spend their money to come to Dominica, what is most important is the experience that they have when they get to Dominica. And the experience starts with every single individual that they interface with. So the immigration officer, they have to provide a great experience to that individual. They still have to do their job, but they still have to make you feel welcome. The customs officer, the port officer, the porter, the taxi driver. From the taxi, they go to the hotel receptionist. You have to make your visitors feel welcome, and you have to give them great, consistent, excellent service. Service can't be good today and bad tomorrow, and bad tomorrow and good the next day. It has to be great all the time. So even if your building is not the most beautiful building, if you have that amazing experience in Dominica, when you come to Petite Savanne and the tour guide takes you and he tells you the entire history, he tells you about all the plants, and he tells you where to swim, and he makes sure that you're safe, and he makes sure you get the hot cocoa from the reception center, or a wonderful rum punch. When that person has that excellent experience, they're going to tell one or two people. But guess what happens when they have a horrible experience? How many people do they tell? So whenever we have a horrible experience, we tell way more people. And as you know, with social media, it is so much more easier to spread a bad story. So it's very important that we give the persons coming to Dominica a wonderful experience. So the Ministry of Tourism, we continue to work. We have many sites. So when persons come to Dominica, we want to ensure that the sites are being upgraded. So we have a lot of work being done. We have Trafalgar Falls, which has more upgrades to be done. We have Emerald Pool, which has more upgrades to be done. Those of you who have maybe been there would have seen that the trail is a much better trail. Even down to Jack's Walk in Roseau in the city, we're going to do some more work in those areas. Petite Savanne, we've done some work there, but we still have to continue doing more work in the Petite Savanne area so that it is still a great experience for the person. We have to balance it out very carefully. We don't want to make a concrete jungle, but at the same time, we want as many persons to experience what Dominica has to offer, and even including those persons who are handicapped. So persons on a wheelchair, they should be able to get as close to a site as possible and enjoy to see what the other persons have seen. So we have a lot of work to do, and once the tourism season, especially the peak season, is closed, there'll be more work that we have to do before the new season opens. Many of you here will know that persons can fly to Dominica, but also yachting is also very important in terms of bringing persons to Dominica. Yachting is important also because the yachties spend a significant amount of money in Dominica. We have a a program called the Yacht Appreciation Week, which started about 2 years ago. In the first year, we had about 25 yachts coming to Dominica during that time. Last year, we had about 40 yachts coming to Dominica. This year, we had over 100 yachts in the harbor of Portsmouth. Again, bringing significant income to the country and allowing persons to benefit from what we have to offer. Even in Roseau, not Roseau, but Newtown, at certain times there were over 40 yachts in the harbor, way more than we are accustomed of having. But again, all of these things are being done in a systematic way to bring as much people as possible to our beautiful island. But as I said, we all have to do our part to ensure that security is key. And even from a cruise standpoint, we have what we call our own what I call security, our security team. So many of you who've been in Roseau, especially on the cruise days, you'll see persons dressed in certain uniforms, again, with a view of reducing issues with the vagrants and also reducing issues with crime. Because as you can well imagine, just one incident with somebody stealing someone's chain or someone falling down, just imagine that person or somebody posting a picture of that and the negative impact that it'll have on our country. So we too have all our parts to play to ensure that persons continue to want to come to our beautiful island. We say Dominica is beautiful, it is clean and green, but many times Dominica is not as clean as it should be. And I was really happy to see driving up on the way how beautiful your sides of your roads were manicured and kept. But we all have to do our best to keep it that way, and persons have to ensure that we don't throw garbage all over the place. So many persons are cleaning, and we're using the National Employment Program to engage many persons to ensure that not only your area is clean, but many areas around the country are very clean. And I must say, hats off to all the persons who have been doing a fantastic job in ensuring that Dominica looks a lot cleaner and better for not only for our visitors, but more importantly for us. We're the ones who are here 24/7. The visitors come for a short period of time. If they're on the cruise, they come for a few hours. If they stay over, they come for maybe 7 days. But you and I are the ones who are here. So we have to continue taking care of our land and ensure that we don't just throw garbage indiscriminately all over the place. Again, people come to Dominica through for the cruise, and there's a lot of work that we're doing as a team, not only by ourselves, but with the stakeholders, to ensure that we address all of the challenges that have been there over the years, to ensure that we fix many of those issues, because all of these little issues, so what the cruise ships do is that after persons go back on the ship, they give them a questionnaire and they score us on maybe about 30-something different things. They score us on cleanliness of our town, garbage disposal, vagrancy, security, even down to friendliness. That is one of the things that they score us on. And you'd be surprised, Dominica had a very low score for friendliness. And many of us say that we know that Dominicans are some of the most friendly people. But sometimes when you go to the Bayfront and you see the way that persons react to the cruise guests and even to each other, they're shouting, they're screaming, they're arguing. Imagine that you're not used to that type of behavior. When you come and you see that, that is why we get a low score. So what we're doing, we have about 18 initiatives that we have put in place to ensure that we can fix those issues and we can get better scores. And what does better scores do? The better scores means that more persons will want to come to Dominica and the cruise ships will want to come to Dominica. Recently, just 2 weeks ago, we had our executives who have gone to the Florida Cruise Conference, and I'm happy to say that over the last 2 years, our scores have begun to get better, which means we just have to continue working at that, and we will see better results in the future. Those of you who are in the cruise business, if you've seen the cruise schedule for 2017, 2018, we're looking at an increase in over 20% in the number of ships that will be coming to Dominica. But all of that work that is being done, we cannot rest. We can't just stop and say, well, now that the boats are here, we're going to go back to our regular means of operation. We have to continue making sure that when persons come here, they have a fantastic time. When we see them, we greet them properly. Even down to the service that they get in the shops, we have to continue giving them great service so that they will want to come here, and more importantly, they want to continue spending as much money as possible in Dominica. So the Ministry of Tourism, we continue to work as hard as possible. As many of you would know that through the Citizen by Investment Program, which the Prime Minister will speak more on, we have the Kempinski Hotel, which is being built in Portsmouth, which will employ a significant amount of persons, over 160 rooms, over 300 persons will be employed. We have Jungle Bay in Soufriere, which is going to be about 100 rooms with over 200 persons employed. But what that means, even you here in this community will be able to get jobs as a result, either directly at those institutions, or you can well imagine the amount of persons that will now be coming to the island. They'll be coming to Laudat, they'll be coming all over the area, and this creates opportunity for many of you, and that's why Dr. Mark talked about the small business. Start looking for the opportunities so that you can create income, so that you can begin to work for yourself as opposed to working for someone else. So there are many opportunities out there. Go online, don't just use online for surfing the web or medveying persons on Facebook. Go online, go to the different cruise sites so that you can see what other islands are doing that we are not doing, that you can maybe use a small business program to create a business so that you can employ yourself and provide for your family. As you know, we just had our Carnival Celebrations, which was a definite success. I hope many of you participated in the Carnival. We have our Jazz Festival coming up next month, and we also have our Creole Festival. It's in October, but even like right now, we've already started our planning for Creole Festival because we have to be on the ball in a short space of time. We have to say who are the artists are so that you can become excited, and again, persons out there can come to Dominica to spend money in Dominica for all of us to benefit from. So when we're finished, if you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them, but I can assure you that we continue to work smart, we continue to work hard to bring as many persons here. We continue to train many people. I forgot to mention that we even have trained under the CVQ program, we also have what we call master trainers. So any areas that we find that we have shortcomings in, those master trainers will begin to train other persons. And recently we had 12 persons who were trained in commercial food preparation, because many times a lot of us do wonderful dishes, but sometimes we take too long to do it. So we have to learn to be a little bit more efficient because we can't have our guests waiting. So again, thank you very much for listening. If you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer after. Thank you.